I will just start with a couple of questions myself, and then I'll open it up to the audience. So have a think of some things that you might like to ask. But I mean, Robert, first of all, just a huge congratulations. I think it's a really extraordinary nightmare of a film, and it's a hugely impressive piece of work. I wonder if you could start by telling us a little bit about where it first originated from. Where did this kind of fascination in this subject matter come?
I'm sure that Anya has been with so many press things with me that she could do this for me. But so I grew up in New England, and as precious as it may sound, New England's past was always part of my consciousness. And growing up in a rural town, you have these dilapidated old farmhouses and graveyards in the middle of the woods. I mean, like the woods behind my house was a white pine and hemlock forest, not unlike the one in this film, and so your imagination can go wild, and witches and were part of my imaginary playground as a child, and so I wanted to make an archetypal New England horror story, something that would feel like a Puritan's nightmare, if I could sort of like upload a Puritan's nightmare into the audience's mind's eye. That was the idea.
I mean, did you have to go through a long period of research, or was this a kind of subject matter that you already knew a lot about before you went in?
I knew, peripherally a lot about it, and it's, like one of the main things I'm interested in. But yeah, it took a lot of research, and it took 4 years before the film got financed, so that gave me plenty of time to really go crazy with research. And when we were working with the foremost experts in the field of agricultural life with 17th century English people and early American blah 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 blah, lots of experts.
Jay, it must have been incredibly exciting to work with such a distinctive new directorial voice. Could you tell us a little bit about your involvement and when you came on board?
Yeah, it was about weird, this microphone makes my voice deeper. No, it was about 4 years ago? 5 years ago. The assistant editor for a film that we were working, another project that we were working on, handed me Rob's. She was friends with Rob. She had cut your short, right? Her name is Louise. She gave me. It's not like I'm. At the time, I think we were just as much struggling producers as anyone was in terms of trying to make films, and I had her. I had Rob.
In my eyes, they were like the Cadillac of indie producers.
Yes. I was just being modest, but
no. The Cadillac of homeless people.
We were the Cadillac of homeless people. That's better. Like we were still like a broken down, old model Cadillac. Which is an American car. We received. I had Rob's DVD of a short film that he had made in the script for this film, and had no other understanding of who Rob was or what the film was or anything. And Lars, my partner, and Lauren, who at the time was our assistant, now works as almost a partner in our company. We read the script and we were like, wow, whoa, like this is something. Like we didn't know. Kind of like the excitement was, I don't really know what to do with this in a way. Like we have to meet this guy, and I was trying to explain to them, like, you have to see the short, like, and I think that when we're in the position where we're recommending things to each other with even such curiosity and enthusiasm, that's a sign that there's something cool about the project. And Rob came in with Jody, who it was Jody that I was, because she was in New York at the time, who had been working with Rob on the script, Jody Redmond, who's one of the producers on the film. And we all sat together, and Rob started talking us through the project, and it was undoubtable that he was the only person who could make the film. And so, I think, and we were like, yeah, well, we can make this for no money, it's just some family out in the woods, But that was but what we thought was, we can actually pull this off, and Rob knows exactly the film that he wants to make, and let's go on on this journey, to use a cliche, but let's like really move. Let's really pursue this. Let's see what this becomes. And it took several years. It doesn't exactly jump off the page. It's a 1700s, 1600s dialect that is kind of hard to chew through in a script. It's a very it challenges the reader, but we worked on the script together for a couple of years, and we had time to work on it for a couple of years. And it's raw. Because getting people interested in it wasn't. You say, oh yeah, a witch film, and the automatic sort of conception that people seem to have was of the Halloween images or of Wizard of Oz. So it was one in which we had. What was kind of great about that was by pushing against it, it forced us to really define what the film was and how it was going to be, and that was what it was like, and our relationship grew very close and trusting along the way. So.
Ralph and Anya, I wanted to ask you both. So much of the kind of power of the film is in this atmosphere and this kind of sense of dread and mood that permeates throughout. I wonder how much of that was evident when you first read the script, and how much of that kind of came through when you first saw the material.
For the first time when I was given a script, Rob also gave us a lookbook with some sketches and ideas about the design of the film. So from quite an early stage, we had an idea of what he envisaged as the look of the film in a way that you don't normally get as an actor when you're given a script. So yeah, we did have quite a good idea of what he was after from an early stage.
And Anya, what was it about this kind of character that drew you in? Do you want to?
What, Thomason?
Yes. What was it about Thomason that interested you as an actress and made you want to do this role?
Sorry, I was talking to Che. I completely missed the question.
I was talking to you. I was distracted.
I just loved her instantly. I think it's really easy to kind of identify with not really fitting in and not having a connection to some sort of family, whether it's your biological one or the one that you have at school or something like that. And yeah, I just really felt for her and I really identified with that, so I cared.
Yeah, those films are not necessarily like the holy grail for me, but I'm also I'm very proud to be associated with them because they're good films, and I think that what it is, I think, is like people doing genre films that are actually really personal to the filmmaker, and that's what makes them work well. So while whatever, I'm trying to do my thing and blah blah blah, I'm proud to be associated with films like that. Yeah, I think there was definitely some question about showing the witch that early. I didn't have that question, but other people did. And for me, in doing the research, I realized that people don't know what a witch from the early modern period is. This family does. They understand the stakes of a witch, and so I need the audience to know, part of my language, what a witch is, and so I wanted to have those stakes right up front. I listened to a lot of music in a similar vein when I was writing, and there was a period in which I didn't want to have music in the film. But pretty quickly I realized that was very foolish, and that there was emotions that I was trying very desperately to articulate that could only get there through music. And so we had to have times where there's no diegetic sound, and it's all just music and image to try to transport you somewhere else. But yeah, I'm proud of the score, and we had a great composer, Mark Corvin, who's both an expert in early music and as in music from this period, and the instruments we used in the film were all period instruments, save one, but there's no synthesizer, even though it sounds like it. And also like dissonant 20th century crazy music. And I will tell you that when the women were doing the choir, were doing that singing, that the sound engineer was very terrified and confused and wished that he had not gotten this job.
I'm sorry that we don't have more time to talk, but once again, I just want to say huge congratulations to all of you on the film, and thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.